Hi, friends. This is Caitlin, and I am here to color up a super cute little Galentine's Day card. I'm excited. There's a new release out today from Sweet November Stamps. I am on the design team for them. My link is not an affiliate link, so throwing that out there. I'm creating with this because I just love it. I did see Dawn's in here, Stamperoos in here. I'm so excited that you guys are here to hang out. I appreciate it. I know this one was a little last minute. Hi to Maria. But yeah, I just thought I had some time. I was planning on coloring tonight, and I figured I might as well color with some friends. So the stamps that we're going to be using is that Meet Cute. So it looks like this. So you get the one little couple and then another one down here. You get the table and a little vase. You get some drinks, some straws, and then the sentiments. Hey, Jackie, thank you so much for coming to hang out. So the thing is, everybody I've seen use this card so far, I think, has been using the couples kind of as like a standard couple. And so I wanted to change it up and go, I feel like this is like right in the way. Maybe that's better. I want to go Galentines with this one. So to celebrate the female friendships in our lives, I'm going to pair up this girl here. There we go. And then this one here. So this is going to be me, and this is going to be my best friend. I have colored the two of us in many a card at this point. And I hated Connie and Joanne. Thank you guys for checking in. So me and my bestie are gonna go on a coffee date in this card. And I just think it's gonna be super cute. So we're starting from scratch and we are gonna make a full scene. I'm gonna show you guys my favorite hack for making like a brick background with alcohol markers. And I grabbed some fun dies. So my goal is to make this whole card with you guys. I'm not gonna lie though, most of the time that does take at least an hour. So we'll see how it goes. If anybody needs to dip early, no worries on that part. The replay will be available forever. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I know for me, I usually craft at night after 8 when I put my kids to bed. And more often than not, I end up putting on like craft videos in the background because it's nice to feel like I'm crafting with someone. So I figured that was kind of my inspiration for going live tonight too, was kind of being able to craft with anybody else who's doing some late night crafting. If you're West Coast, it's not really that late, but you know what I mean. We're going to use this frame to build a little frame around our scene. So I'm just going through and really lightly with a pencil kind of creating a general guideline for myself. So I know I'm not putting my stamps too far out of where they should be. And we're going to stamp this on a Misty. The other thing is for anybody who realized that I didn't put up a video last night, it's because I will have a normal video up tomorrow morning. Oh, let me make sure I tell you the right thing. Hold on. I want to tell you the right time, and I should already know it. I'm sorry. We have a YouTube hop happening tomorrow with Sweet November stamps. Yeah, that's for the Instagram. Oh no. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna say 11. I think it's at 11 Eastern tomorrow it starts. But anyway, sometime before tomorrow afternoon, there will be a YouTube hop going on with Sweet November stamps for a chance to win the whole new release. So if you want to see that, I made a really sweet Valentine themed shaker card for that. So definitely come back and check that out tomorrow. All right, so we're gonna get this girl here. I want to make sure that my table lines up. So I'm kind of just guesstimating where they're gonna go first, but we're gonna really stamp our table for real first. And you can always, if you're using a metal die, it helps if you take the magnet out, but you can always hold your frame in there too to make sure everyone's gonna fit. Can shift over a little bit. So that looks pretty good for our tabletop. And because I have my table stamp on top of my other stamps, it's really easy when you close the door to just pick up the one that you want to work with, and then you can move everything else out of the way. But the reason I'm stamping that table first is that it's meant to fit right in between like their arms. Like the stamps are drawn so that the girls are like leaning on the table. Hello, focus. Yeah, so you can see her like arm is supposed to be on the table. So I want to make sure that the table's in place first, and we can get them situated on either side of it. So I'm going to be stamping with my Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. That's my preferred Copic coloring ink. I threw my microfiber in the laundry. So I guess we're going to go back to my old beloved Lawn Fawn chamois, which is beyond crusty. Yeah, and probably going to make a mess. Hi, Susan. Yeah, Dawn, me too. I haven't done a full scene, live anywhere before. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be different, but I'm excited for that. Different is still fun. So I'm just trying to get these lined up. Like I said, they're meant to go right around that table. I'm pretty sure that's good. Get this dog hair out of here. This a little bit, prime it up. If anyone else is crafting, I'm very curious what you're making. I'd love to know what you're working on, or if you're just hanging out. That's obviously cool too. So their arms are just a little bit above, but I'm pretty sure we can make that work. I think if we just like overline that a little bit with another pen or marker, I think we'll be able to disguise that pretty easily. Let's get these out of here, and we will stamp our little coffees. It's funny, it feels like for any of these stamp sets I've ever used to turn them into my friend and I, there's always, always a girl with a bun and a girl that does not have a bun. And I'm always the friend with the bun, which is ironic because now I usually end up wearing my hair down. But from my life in general, I usually have my hair back. So I'm also going to mask her hand, just her hand there, and we're going to put her coffee more in her hand, and that way we'll have room for the other coffee. Stop. Oh my gosh. This is the stuff that I edit out of my regular videos. These tiny little stamps. One coffee. And we'll be able to just kind of continue that over. And then her coffee can be right in front of her hands. Just like that. I am a very serious coffee person. Like people, we should probably be concerned about how much of a coffee person I am. But these could also be, you know, like teas or something if you're not a coffee person. That's okay too. All right, so I'm gonna go in with a Tombow mono drawing pen and a 3. This is a water-based pen. It's teeny, teeny, tiny. And it is going to let me show you up close before I do it. So you can see where that mask that I put, I didn't fussy cut it. So there's a little gap there. And you can see how this could look like I'm holding the cup, but there's no bottom to the cup. And how her arms are just not quite touching the table. So I am going to also something happened with my image, like right around her hair. All right, so I'm gonna continue this line over to just finish that cup. I'm gonna just make like a little rectangle under. Maybe it'll look like a laptop or yeah, it kind of has like a laptop or like a magazine feel. Right, so now it just looks like there's something under her arm and that coffee cup isn't just half existing. Now it's got a spot on that table. So love that. You know what I did just think about is I have no idea where I'm going to put the sentiment for this. It might fit. Yeah, it's going to fit on that frame. We'll just do it at the bottom of the frame. We're going to use the love that we're friends. All right, so that is our characters. Before I color this, we're going to do that background because I feel good about it. Yeah, it could be a book or a menu. Exactly, Kelly. Susan said it's like she just started leaning. I agree. That could also work. So we want a floor. I'm going to use this is from Heffy Doodle, this tape. It's like a post-it tape almost. Um, I love the idea of it. I haven't used it a lot, so I can't give you a full review yet, but I don't want, normally I would try to do it from the bottom so that it's straight across, but that's way too far back for our wall. I want them kind of nestled close to the wall. Let's see, does that look straight? It's a little, and this is like super low tack, which is great. Then you can move it however you need. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good with that T-square. So Kelly said this one loses its stick after about 3 to 4 uses. Yeah, knowing me, I'll probably only end up using it once anyway. I bought, because it was coming from the UK, I bought like two refills, I think. So I have no problem kind of going through it. So that's going to be where our floor is. Now for our background, I want a brick wall, and I don't want a fussy cut. I don't want to have to mask. So what I'm going to do is, even though I can magnet to my board, I'm going to take these just in case. This washi. And this is my absolute favorite way to do a brick wall, because when left to my own devices of drawing a brick wall, I can and I will, but it'll take forever. It'll take absolutely forever. So we're just going to hinge it at the top. And I do want this to be like a stone wall, but I don't want it to be a red brick. I think I want it to be softer, and then we'll pull in more of the Galentines feel with their outfits. So I'm going to, this stencil, everything I'm using is listed in the description for you guys, just in case, but this is actually the Lawn Fawn brick stencil. So I'm going to go over with a wash. Let me get a scrap of, I'm stamping on, or working on Copic Express It too, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to start with E81. And I'm going to, and I know you're probably like, really, this is faster, but I promise you, it's faster than it would be for me on my own. I'm just going to fill these in, and that, because I'm doing it by hand, I can control where my marker's going, and I don't have to mask. I can work right around my characters. And for an actual brick wall, this works really well because you get that white grout. Or what is it? Mortar lines. But for what we're doing, and because I want it to be softer, this will also, having that light mortar grout line will also work. This is also a great trick if you like the subway tile look and you're doing like a little kitchen scene. But this way you don't need a ruler. You don't need stress. There's no stress to this. And you can see I'm working fairly fast. And that's also why I like the idea of using that fancy frame die, because I don't have to do the whole background. And this will let us get right between on all of these spots that would be such a pain for me to do with fussy cutting and masking, You can just zip right around the table, no problem. Right around those little cups. And if you're not sure like where you are, you can always, that's why I like to hinge it so you can like lift up and figure out what's doing, like what's happening. Oh, thank you so much, Rick. I also use this on a like a outdoor brick wall Christmas scene with a purple onion stamps image. It was like the first card I posted in 2024 was like my last Christmas card that I just didn't get to finish. And I used the same technique for that, but with the red. And I really just love how it came out. That's her arm. But just knowing myself, time-wise, I'd still be fussy cutting that first mask. I just know I would. So, right. And I am going to go in and add still like a little more definition to these and some more shading, but just getting down, and you can do that with, maybe we'll do it. I don't usually do it with the stencil in place, but maybe we will this time just so you can see what that looks like. And I want to double check myself. I have that marked there. Yep, perfect. So if we stopped now, you get that. So you still see those, you can still see the that brick, but it's very subtle. So we're gonna now take, what do I want to take? Let's do orange. That was 53. Maybe I want a W. No, 84 is way too dark. We'll go 42. I'm going to go E42. And I'm just going to pick a side. My personal preference after working on like theater scene work for years with my dad, Halloween builds and haunted house builds, my natural preference is to be lower in the bottom left corner. But as long as you pick one and just stick with it, it'll look good. But we're going to go through, and you're basically making an L and then rounding that corner. And sometimes if I'm doing like a really dramatic scene, right? If this was going to be like a Halloween scene, I would probably go even one or two shades darker and have more of like a light, medium, and dark blend going on. But I really don't mind this being a little more subtle. Because I do want the girls to really be the focus and pull all of that attention. And just by leaving that stencil in, it does just make it even just that little bit faster. I think I need to re-ink my marker though. Kelly said that if she knows she's going, there we go. If she knows she's gonna use a mask a lot, she'll do it out of plastic so she can have it for longer, which is brilliant. I'm more of like the kind of person that if I take the time to make the mask, it's probably still not going to be a great mask. So I probably don't even, I don't worry about doing a good enough job that I have to keep it because I know I'm probably just going to lose it anyway. I do try to keep my masks on the back of my stamp packaging, like on the back of the little paper in my stamps. I do try, but I can definitely not act like that works all the time. So now you can see we're definitely getting way more. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany, that's the first time anybody has ever done that. Man, thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry. Um, not me crying on a live. But yeah, so you can see how much more definition we're getting with that. And then we can always go back in. I'm grabbing a 41 just to blend that out a tiny bit. And this can be super rough and quick because those bricks would not be smooth. Even if they're tile, they wouldn't be perfect. Not in a little coffee shop. All right. Oh, thank you so much. I promise I will pay that forward. All right, so we're going to remove our stencil. We're going to remove our bottom tape. So now you can see just that quick, right? I get that it's not the fastest thing ever, but we have that brick wall. And once we put our frame around it, they're going to look like they're just nestled back in this little shop. Seriously, Tiffany, thank you. That was not necessary, but extremely appreciated. So I'm going to take that same tape that we used for the bottom and we're going to block out the top. And I want to create a little bit of a baseboard. So, we'll bring in that same 81. And I'm going to take a ruler, my T-square, and bump it down just a little bit. Right, because we're not super close to the wall, so it wouldn't be a really thick line. I'm going to take my chisel tip, which I very rarely use, and we're just going to go right across the bottom. And that's going to make just a little baseboard. What we need to do is go back in and make it more solid at the top of that baseboard. So I'm leaving just the smallest little gap. Now I will bring in a W because I do want it to look like a shadow. So we'll go W3. and right up against that tape. Kind of just doing the same thing we did with that ruler, but on the top edge. Oh, thank you so much, Tiffany. You're inspiring to me, girl. The first time I ever tried alcohol inks was because I was watching you do all of your beautiful alcohol ink techniques. It made it so much less scary um, watching your videos. So thank you for everything you do. For all of these different like summits and classes and stuff like that. Anytime I see your name on there, I know it's going to be a good one. All right, so I'm going to go in now with some W1 and add just a little bit of shading to the bottom of that baseboard, just so it's not a stark white. And this can be really messy because we're going to give a wood floor in a second. So do that and then a little W00. Just like that. I am in a couple upcoming things that technically I'm not sure they've all been announced yet, but I'll DM you as soon as I can share them, which is pretty soon. I will share them here on my channel too. So that is our little baseboard. And just to keep that safe and make it even easier for myself, I'm gonna remask that for this wood floor that I want to do. Yeah, Joanne, that brick wall is 1,000 times easier if you marker through a stencil. And I also, to be fair, granted this one, I've used this one, but it's retired now. If you're doing an underwater scene and you love that look of the like sunshine coming through the water, a stencil like this with the rays, this is from My Favorite Things, but it is retired now. But doing that so that it's coming down from the top and going over it with your markers works beautifully too. So definitely take a look at what stencils you have and see if there's other techniques you can try with them, because I promise you have some like hidden gems in your collection already. You know, maybe we'll stick to a similar color to keep it all together. Just don't know if I have enough colors for that. Let's pick out the color of my hex chart. I'm grabbing my Sandy Alnock hex chart. See, this says I have an 89, but I don't see 89. Oh, I do. Perfect. So because we use the 81 for our brick, I just leave everything. I'm gonna use, yeah, literally look at it. It's on the back of my clipboard. That's the most new thing I've done in a while. Because we used 81 on the brick, I'm gonna use the other deeper 80s for the wood. And that way we know all of those tones are gonna go together, no problem. So I'm gonna start with 89, which is pretty dark. And we're going to go right up against that baseboard. And in theory, there would be a good bit of shadow in that back corner. So it's okay if this line gets a little thick. Right, this is where the floor meets the baseboard, under and behind that table, right? So it's gonna, there is gonna be some good shadows back there. Like that. I try not to be a ruler person, but I'm gonna have to be. If you guys watching live, I'm not willing to ruin this in the moment. So I'm going to take that T-square again. You don't have to do this. I learned a lot of these techniques from Amy Young from Sweet November Stamps. She's the illustrator for this stamp set, and she has a Facebook page called Adventures in Coloring with Amy, and she colors live, and I learned so much from her. She does not use a ruler, so you don't have to use a ruler, I promise. But I get so nervous for straight line things that we're just gonna do it today with a ruler. So to make sure that it's level, I'm holding my ruler up against the bottom, and then from there I can use the square to make sure that we're good. So this first plank is going to be a little thin, but that's okay too, because as our scene gets closer to us, the planks would appear a little bigger. And I'm going in with a pretty light hand because I can then always go back in and thicken that up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I know it'll be more of a straight line than if I freehanded it. Like that. Hey, Jay. I am so glad you made it. And Cordelia's here. Christina. Oh yeah, Christina, you have to check out go watch all of Tiffany's videos. 100%. I have learned so much from her. Okay, just walking through my mindset for this. Now I'm using the ends of my numbers on my ruler to make sure my next line is straight. I'm always just trying to look for little simple cheats like that I can do to make everything just less difficult for myself. Right? It doesn't matter to me how far apart these boards are. So, and then the next one's going to be down below the frame anyway. So it doesn't, that's all we have to do. And if you use a ruler and you get alcohol ink on your ruler, you can just go in with hand sanitizer or some alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol, and it'll come right off. Susan, that's how I feel. Every scene would look like an earthquake. Yes, that is exactly how I feel. All right, so we're gonna go in and make our wooden boards now. They'd be pretty long, I think. Kind of staggered like our bricks. And that one can go off the edge. So I don't have an exact explanation for how I like to do my wood grain, other than most of the time while I'm doing it, to me, it just looks like weird bacon. So keep that in mind. If while you're doing this, you feel like yours also looks like weird bacon, that it's not you. Do that little slat in between. I kind of just do some like wavy lines. I like to keep each board kind of like it's its own thing. Every once in a while, I'll go in and add like a little knot in the wood grain. Most of this is just kind of from practice and learning what I like what looks good to my eye. Also, if you're wanting to focus more and learn more for these kind of like freehand textured things, if you just start keeping an eye out, I promise you can find some really cool inspiration out there. These background elements sometimes just don't get the spotlight because they are literally the background. But if you know that that's what you're looking for, you'll start to notice them more and more. And these ones at the bottom, I really honestly don't care about because they're going to be right under that frame. Just like that. Now I'm going to go in with one shade up, that's 87. And now I'm going to go ahead and move my mask so I can make sure that this is looking healthy. So I'm going to put a big old stretch of the 87, regardless of where that wood tone is, all the way across that back line. Because again, that's where everything would be in shadow. And I like to go in on either side of those board marks. And we can also thicken up the edges of those boards so they don't get lost while we're coloring, because that has definitely happened to me too. Once you start going in with that texture, it can be easy to lose where those distinctions are. Christina, they do look like weird bacon though, right? It kind of looks like bacon. I have a Tim Holtz layering wood grain die, and that thing, I swear, when the first time I made it, I tried to make it like a cherry wood and it looked like raw bacon. It was so weird. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that I've really used it since then. I probably should give it another try because it was definitely user error, not the dye's fault that I picked bacon colors. And I got like a little piece of wood grain color in her leg, in my leg. That's fine. I'm not concerned. So I'm just going to go over and start thickening up all of those lines. Do some flicking motions kind of out from each of those little end plank sections. Under her feet would definitely have a lot of shadow. That's something to consider too. And I know this seems like probably a lot and a good bit of time that we're spending on the background, but when you consider how much of the card is the background, like once we get to just them, it's going to be a lot easier. Although now that I've been talking about all of this, I just realized I skipped all of these parts around her. Let's finish our floor and we'll go back in and fix that. But that's the other reason why this technique is great, because all we have to do is put that stencil, hold it in place for 2 seconds, and we can fix that super easily. So this is that NYX shade lighter, that 84. Just filling in all the gaps that are left over. And the jump from 7 to 4 is pretty significant. So it is going to kind of wash out a little bit of that 87. But again, I'm really fine with that. These are well-loved, well-worn floors. This is a high traffic area, so that is not a problem. Oh, Joanne, I'm so glad. Yeah, those anytime you can use like those edges on a ruler or anything like that to your benefit to make it easier for you, go for it. That's, to me, that's not cheating. That's just being smart with your resources. All right, so you can see this, we can line right back up. And I'm going to go in with that 81. Fill in this little section behind her that I missed. And under her arms. That's the 81, and then 42. Here we go. So that is our little scene so far. I think that's super cute. And how it's going to look with that frame around it. I love that. I really want to play up those brighter colors on their outfits, but first let's get this table taken care of. This is such a small space. I'm just going to go in with that darkest shade, that E89, and just completely color that in. We can leave that little spindle at the bottom separate. And I don't want these to completely match the floor because then it'll get lost. So let's grab 57, something just a little bit warmer. Go. Same for the chairs. We'll just use that 89 again. These are so thin. And it makes sense to me that whatever designer that the coffee shop hired would have wanted everything to match. Okay. Oh, Connie, I'm so glad that you like them. I hope they help. Seeing coloring feels like it can just be so intimidating. It was so intimidating for me when I first started, but I just loved seeing cards and I loved watching other people color. And I finally, Amy did a Halloween outdoor scene that was so, so beautiful that it finally pushed me over the edge. Um, so yeah, I'm just trying to take any of that stigma or fear, or overwhelm feeling out of the process. I'm thinking blue for the seats, something soft. Yeah, maybe 91 and a little 93 under their butts. Something, because I know I'm going to put me in jeans and probably her in, I guess this should both be jeans, even though she wouldn't be wearing jeans in real life. She'll forgive me. The cuff on that just makes me think I can't make them look like leggings. Sorry, I should have also twisted you guys because I always color sideways. There we go. So let's start with her. She's more fair than I am. We'll start with EO4. So, see if that helps. Kind of going right in her ear, right under her hair. EO4 is just going to act as like a natural shadow. Just going to be a little I don't want to go overboard. It's not a ton of space. I'm going to go in with E11 and just start pulling that color out. We'll go E00. And honestly, that's probably enough. I grabbed the triple, but I don't think we're going to have room. Go back in with just a little bit of that 11, just to make sure we don't lose all of that shadow. Okay. And for me, I mean, I'm pretty fair right now, to be honest, but we'll bring in a little 13. So we'll start E04. Oh, Kelly, that makes me so happy. I love that you found them through me. Yeah, I love a Galentine's card. I like Valentine's is cool. And I have a very wonderful husband. He's the best. But growing up, my daughter and I were talking about it today because she is very concerned about whether she will have a Valentine or not. And I was explaining to her that I never had a Valentine until my husband, and that is okay. That there are plenty of other people in life that can love you, and having one person on one specific day is not the deal breaker. So I love the reminder to celebrate your girlfriends, celebrate your close, whatever close female friendships that you have. And my best friend, I am so lucky. She is like the best friend that I could have ever asked for. And I didn't find her until after I mean, I also have 4 amazing college roommates that I'm very close to. But my my self-proclaimed best friend, I found her, we found each other after college, working in a terrible job together. And we've worked off and on together since then as well. But she's been with me through me getting married and both of my kids. And so I very much enjoy making cards for her. And she puts them on her refrigerator because I just take them to her house. I don't mail them. So being able to just take them and she puts them right on her fridge just makes me really happy. I got some skin tone in my eye on that one, but we'll be able to clean that up at the end. Oh, a pancake day. I would also prefer pancake day. How do I get the US to sign up for pancake day instead? I'm gonna go over that spot on the leg a little bit heavier with that light marker to push that ink out. Right? Dawn's with me. You said pancake day. Just kind of hopping around. She's blonde, so let's take care of her hair. We're gonna go E40s. Susan too. Susan's in for pancake day. All right, so we're gonna bring in some E44, following these artist drawn lines. Trying to keep that darker color up near the root. break up bigger piece in front. And E43. And then her hair does not yellow, but we're going to pull in a little yellow in a second to make sure that this does not blend into that brick. Yeah, that's fine. We'll bring in a little Y00, and that'll just give a little hint of more like of a yellow gold than that very neutral wall. It'll push that it's blonde, right? Just a little extra. We can also go back in with a little extra E44 at the root, and that extra depth will help to separate that from the that wall. Contrast. Yep. And I will get super dark brown for my hair. My usual combo for when I'm coloring my dark brown is 49, 59, 57. We'll try that. Just starting to pull that color down from the bangs. Oh, toppings for pancakes. We just go classic syrup here in our house. Sometimes my kids will convince me to put like sprinkles in our pancakes, but that's about the extent of it. I'm also the official burner of all pancakes. So more often than not, if we're having pancakes, it's because my husband cooked them. I'm the self-proclaimed burner of just about everything, to be fair. I am a terrible cook. So my kids know if they want something that's like cookies, I try so hard, I always end up burning them. Pancakes, terrible. We got a waffle maker. The waffle maker, I still managed to burn the waffles in the waffle maker. My mom said it's good because I'm teaching them that like they don't have to be perfect chefs. They don't have to be great cooks. I'm setting the bar really low for when they're moms. Go. Just some good nice texture in there. And I have a super dark brown eye, so I will color that in. She's got greeny eyes, greeny blue. Now I'm questioning it. I haven't seen her in a while. Now I'm questioning if I'm going to put the wrong eye color. We're going to go BG99. And I definitely got skin tone in my eye space. So I'm just going to go back in with a little white gel pen to clean that up and reinforce those highlights in the eye. Same for her. I can also go in with that EO4 and give them both some natural lip color. Beautiful. In America, I'm pretty sure our maple syrup is like flavored maple. It's not actual maple most of the time. So eh, we just use whatever's at the grocery store. I'm going to give myself tiny red earrings. And you know what? We'll go red on this little tank underneath. And maybe that bracelet. Because like I said, I want to start bringing in some of those reds and pinks in their bodies. Or in their outfits, I guess. Let's give her a little gold earring. This will be a little exaggerated, but again, I don't want it to get lost in her hair. Let's say they were friendship bracelets and she can have a little matching red one. She would, let's give her, we'll make a little coordinating shirts. So do her shirt first. So we have R59. I'm going to go under the sleeve. Normally, my tendency would be to add shadow to the back, but in this case, all of her shadow would be in the front of her shirt. And the light would be hitting her back. Kind of have like a centralized color light source. Light source, not color light source. That doesn't make sense. That was R59, and we'll bring in 29. Oh, a large maple bush and a sugar shack. Man, my stepmother is from Canada, and she always talks about, you know, the difference of having like real maple syrup. But I don't know if she ever made her own. She was in, I don't remember if she called it Scouts or if they called it something else. So I'm sure at some point she's made maple syrup. It sounds like something she would have done. So this is 27, and honestly, I think I can even get one more color in here just for that extra little pop of a highlight. So I'm going to grab 24. Just for those little slivers. I really love the extra shadow that contrast that gives. I don't want me to be wearing, I guess I'm gonna have to go pink for my overshirt. You know what else could be this red? Is the sleeves on her coffee cups. So we'll do 29. I usually make them green as like a little nod to Starbucks, but for Valentine's Day, we can go red. All right. I'm not ready to commit to my pink shirt yet, so let's go to her jeans. We're gonna go 90s. We'll give her a lighter wash. She's a lighter wash girl. And I can go a little darker. In real life, she'd be wearing black leggings though, just to be clear. So I'm gonna add B97 right under that waistband in that pocket. right along that seam, and then right under her little butt. Pull that color in from the back and follow that seam again. She's got these big old cuffs. Going with 95. Making sure I'm still leaving a good bit of room, especially on the top of that thigh and the knees for that highlight shade. It's 93. French fries. I wonder how we got from pancakes to French fries. I'm going to have to go back and read the comments later. See, 93 is not giving me enough of a difference, so let's bring in 91. For her butt, that's okay, because there would be more shadow down there. But for these top areas, I definitely want a lighter color. Love that. I feel like this is looking light. I know it's probably a little late to mess with it now, but that looks a little truer. All right, and I would have a way darker wash. So I'll go 99 for me. There's not a ton of room there. And I do want these to definitely look darker, so I'm using a little bit of a thicker line. So I'll do 97. Oh yes, thank you, Dawn. If you guys would like to, also no pressure, giving a thumbs up definitely helps the algorithm push us out to more people. All right, I like where this is headed for sure. I just wouldn't wear pink on that. Maybe we'll go with like a soft gray. I just can't force myself. I know this isn't real life, but I just wouldn't. You wouldn't. She would die of shock if she walked in and saw me with pink on top of red like that. So let's do. Oh, Jackie, I totally understand. I appreciate you coming to hang out with us in general, and this replay will be up so you can jump back in and see how it all turned out later. No worries. I hope you guys have a fun night and a good movie. So I'm just kind of picking out some shadows to start emphasizing on the shirt with the N5. Then we can jump up to N3. Kind of like the look of this being like a white shirt. Go N0 just to blend out those edges a little more. But I think I'm going to leave some white space and let this either be like the world's lightest gray or like a very well-loved white. I think that looks so cute. So now we just need a little blip of something on those cups and then the shoes. So I'm going to just take an N3 and add just the tiniest shadow to one side of those cups. I think I'm going to take that same N3 and fill in this space. So to me, it will read more like a computer, kind of. I'm going to touch an N5 on the edge. And shoes. She would probably have on brown. Just trying to kind of gauge with this outfit. We'll bring in that 59 that I used for my hair. Just something a little warmer, different enough. 57 that it'll not blend in with the floor. Oh, Kelly, I wish that too. I definitely do not take my friendships for granted because I know that's not how things are for everybody. And I know you're very, very, very far away, but at least we can hang out and chit chat on here. And this really needs to be refilled. Look at the tip of that, how white it is. It's definitely very dry. All right, so that is my scene all done. And love it. Although now I'm going to potentially ruin everything and take my R29 and just add little polka dots. Not that I'm a big polka dot girl, but I think that'll just jazz that up a little extra. Okay, I grabbed some, oh, but you know what? I can't pattern paper because I want to stamp. So let's change directions. Grab, yeah. Okay, let me get you guys back up here. What's wrong with my camera? That's good enough. All right, so I have Pink and Main Stop Sign. I promise if you start trying to color people, it's not as scary as it seems. I can promise you that. All right, so this is going to be, I'm going to cut it a little big so that I have room for my frame. Because the other sides I'll be able to use as for matting stuff in. So those are just a little bigger than my frame. Let's get that taped into place. All right, I'm going to run that through. Machine, my big shot. She went in a little crooked. No, we're going to be able to salvage that for sure. Except, look, I didn't do my brown far down enough. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Thank you so much, Amy and Joanne. The coolest thing, too, is when you use these, you get this beautiful stitch edge, like inner shape that you can use for like a zillion other things. I love that. But now I don't know if this is going to fit, though. That looks a lot thinner. It doesn't. All right, what is this space under them? Yep, we're going to put it there, and we're going to emboss it. Going in with that 89, and we're going to darken this bottom section up. Just a smidge. Doesn't make sense for there to be highlight only in the center, because that's where it would be the darkest. So I'm just knocking all of this back a little bit, but that's okay. Because then we're going to heat emboss with, well, I was thinking white, but yeah, because everything else is red and white, so we can't go like pink. That would look silly. Mm-hmm. And that top corner. How did I manage that? Is that dye really that different? It is that different. Interesting. So that dye definitely has like a bigger difference, like a bigger frame. Wow. Oh, because you get the inner stitching and the outer stitching. Well, at least I know that'll take 2 seconds to fix again. Again, this is something I would definitely have cut out if I was editing. Perfect. Let's see. White. Yeah, white's gonna pop the most. I'll just stick with white. And that's there. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Yes, the frame die set that I use is the Fancy Frames from Pink and Main. That is definitely linked in the description. Anything that I'm adding in after, like the cardstock, like I wasn't planning on using the stop sign cardstock, but I'll make sure that those get added um, to the description when this posts. So anybody watching in the replay or anybody who comes back to this later, it'll all be updated. Oh, good. Right. I do try to leave in as many bloopers or at least like talk about them um, in my finished videos too, because I just assume that these things must pop up for everyone. I hope. I tell myself that at least, that it's not just me. Trying to just kind of line that up with their chairs. And that looks pretty straight on my misty lines. Going with my embossing ink. Happy mistakes. Yes, 100%. That problem solving has been like the biggest thing for me to learn in card making. I think that's a game changer for everybody because those problems are always going to just pop up. And if we just gave up and threw anything that had a glitch in the trash, I don't know about you guys, but I'd have less than 50% of my cards done. All right, I'm going to go quiet for a minute while I heat this so that you guys don't have to hear the heat gun. Perfect. And now that is super clear and bright, even though it doesn't want to, there we go. It doesn't want to focus. It's okay. Sometimes I have trouble focusing too. All right. I also, great, like I said, I'm using this for a Galentine's, but I love that this stamp set lets you mix and match. So if you were giving, if you are a member of a relationship that might be same sex, or if you're giving this card to somebody whose relationship might be that way, LGBT love, you could use this however you want. I love that it's open-ended. If you have a friendship that you'd like to be more than a friendship, you could shoot your shot with this one too. I love that we're friends, but I'd like to be more on the inside, you know? Lots of options here. All right, let me get this guy trimmed down a little. My seam trimmed down. I don't want to go too crazy. Yeah, like that was too crazy. Great. What to do now? Okay. You guys wanted to see improv. Here we are. That's too big. This one's going to be too small. Way too small. It's just going to have to be a little off center. It's going to drive me crazy. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it's going to drive me nuts. What are we going to do? We're going to do something. Maybe as long as it's symmetrical, I won't care as much. You guys can see it, me trimming off that little bit. That little tiny bit was enough to just like throw it off. So now it doesn't touch the side. So if I trim this side about the same, and these aren't going to erase because I did them under the ink. Let's just test that out on some white and see what happens. Or you know what? Yeah, there we go. If we just pop some red under, the red will blend with the red, and then we'll be okay with it. Instead of calling attention to it with a high contrast white, we are going to completely distract from it as much as we can by doing red on red, which is way less likely to be noticed. All right, let's grab a card base. Okay, and we'll do this guy first. In real life, I wouldn't have given up on this card with that, but I probably would have walked away for a couple of minutes. Just being transparent with you guys. That would have thrown me off enough that I would have needed to step away from the desk. We can get that centered up and then pop that right on top, just like that. It boxes over that thing a little bit, but I think it's really fine. And what I'm going to do is actually add this to my scene first so that I know it's lined up the way I want, covering those edges. All those little marks that got made. Add glue to the scene, frame together, and get that popped. There's one other thing that it just occurred to me that we can also do that I think will be very cute and cover that. I have this glitter gel. I think this one's probably from like Joann's on clearance or something. So I still think that that looks fine, the red, but I think if we outline this, we'll get some pretty shine, and we will also be able to cover that seam. And who doesn't love a little glitter for Galentine's Day, right? Just think you can't go wrong. Birthdays, Christmas, Galentine's Day, all could benefit from a little extra glitter. So pretty. I really want to thank you guys for sticking this out with me. This is the first time, like I said, I've done a full card live, a scene card. But this is pretty accurate to how it goes. Just normal life for me. Each card, those scene cards usually take me between an hour, hour and a half. So we're not very far off, including this little hiccup. And I've just found in life that there aren't many things that I can't make better with a little bit of glitter glue. I was definitely a glitter glue kid as a, or like a, yeah, as a kid, right? I always had those big buckets filled with all the different colors. And I have not lost my love for it through the years, that is for sure. Yep. And now no one will know it's there except for you guys. So that'll dry, super silver and shiny. My sweet little scene card. Love that we're friends. You could definitely put, if you wanted it to be a fuller scene, you could take some of the other little characters and have them like on either side, just like the edges of their chairs. But I think that this is so cute. Thank you, Christina. I recovered well. I hope so. No pressure. You guys just here hanging out with me. All of YouTube to watch it later. But I just think that's so cute and makes a perfect little card. I usually don't put stuff on the inside of my cards, but for one like this, I definitely wouldn't, because I would fill it up with a handwritten sentiment telling her what a great best friend she is. So yeah, that is my card all done. I am so grateful to you guys, like I said, for sticking through, hanging out with me. We definitely had a couple hiccups, but nothing we couldn't deal with. Obviously, we kept our cool. If you haven't ever tried out using a stencil with your Copic markers, please try, because I promise you, it makes the whole process so much easier for these backgrounds. And yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I will be back here tomorrow morning with another Sweet November card. This one will be part of a hop to win a chance at getting the whole release. And it's a pretty small hop, I think. So you know what I mean, you don't have a ton of videos to watch. So in my humble opinion, very much worth it. Hey, honey, yes, please watch the replay. I will try, promise to do better about announcing coloring lives with more notice so that you guys have time to plan accordingly. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I will see you all again soon. And until next time, guys, happy crafting. Have a good night.